everyone, I'm Xue Jiang. Today I will give you a presentation in ENGG955. For my major, my problem field is the solar technology in water treatment. So after doing some research, I determined my problem is the comparing the efficiency of new visible photocatalysis and the photofountain in dry wastewater treatment. So let's see the preview. I will do my presentation in these 5 fields. First is introduction, then the literature review, then I will explain why my research is very important, and then I try to design an experiment to answer my problem. At the end is the conclusion. So let's begin from the introduction. For my problem, there have 3 things need to be explained. First is dry wastewater, then the photofountain and the visible light photocatalysis. In my problem is the graphite copper oxide. And dry wastewater. Dry is very useful in our daily life since it can make our clothes very colorful. But the big problem is for this is that it is very difficult to remove it from the wastewater since it has very complex component. And you can see the characteristics of the dry wastewater. It has a low biological oxygen demand but a high chemical oxygen demand. Sometimes it also has toxic, so we cannot use microbiology biology to treat the wastewater. It will make these animals to die. So for the photofountain, the first method in this field is the fountain. Researchers put the hydrogen peroxide and the ferrous ion into the wastewater to treat the pollutions, and it can transfer the pollutions and to degrade them at the end of the reaction. And then researchers found that if they put the UV light in this reaction, it may improve the efficiency of this reaction. So it is the photofountain. Yeah. And photocatalytic is another method we can use to treat the dry wastewater. The advantage of this is that it do not need some chemical things. It just needs the photocatalysis and the solar. But for the traditional photocatalysis as TiO2, it cannot feed back the solar very well, so we need to add UV light to it. And the literature review. I have read many articles in these fields. Some of it is about photofountain and others is about the photocatalysis. About photofountain, researchers found that photofountain can be used to treat the dry wastewater in 2006. Many studies confirmed that the best reaction pH of the photofountain is 3, and the removal rate of dry in wastewater can reach to 90%. It's very high. For the photocatalysis, the traditional photocatalysis is TiO2, but researchers found that it is very difficult to feed back to the visible light. So they try to improve the photocatalysis for the TiO2, such as add something into this and made new materials. So you can see in 2017, researchers preparing TiO2 nanowire mesh to improve the photocatalysis. But after that, they found that it is very difficult to improve the photocatalysis of TiO2 because the properties of this. So they try to find the new material to be the photocatalysis, such as the copper oxide. And in 2027, researchers made the copper oxide nanosheet. And another researcher do the research on made a graphite copper oxide to improve the photocatalysis of this new material. And why my problem is very significant? That is because the first reason is that most studies focus on just a single method, but not compare the photofountain with others. or they just compared photophoton with the TiO2 photocatalysis, but not the visible light photocatalysis. And for the graphene copper oxide, it's one of the most potential photocatalysis, but it needs more data, so such as the quality in the reaction. So we do this research. It's very important. And then I designed an experiment to try to answer my question. And before I designed this experiment, I have read 2 articles about how to compare these 2 methods. In these 2 articles, they compared photophoton with the TiO2 photocatalysis. And after read that, I do my design. My experiment is in laboratory scale reactors, and I use UV light for the photophoton, but UV light is not needed in the visible light photocatalysis. And then I control the concentration of the graphene copper oxide. And the initial concentration of graphene copper oxide is 200 milligram per liter. This is the first experiment. In the other group experiment, it may add to 250 milligram per liter and all 300. So we can control the quality of the graphene copper oxide in the reaction. And I use the sulfuric acid to adjust the pH to 3 because pH is 3 is the best reaction condition for the photophoton. And for every design, it may have the disadvantage and advantage. For my design, I think the advantage is that I first try to control the quality of the graphene copper oxide as the variable, and doing these 2 experiments in the same situation, so it can make us easier to compare the real efficiency of these 2 methods. But disadvantage is that I ignore the effect of the pH for the graphene copper oxide. I'm not sure if the pH will really affect the graphene copper oxide, but if we control these 2 things, the pH and the quality of the graphene copper oxide at the same time, it's too complex. So maybe control the pH maybe should be another experiment. Yeah. So let's do the conclusion. In my project and presentation, I do these 3 things. First, did a simple introduction in solar technology in water treatment, such as photophoton and photocatalysis. Then I try to explain why my problem is very important, because there are less research compared the efficiency of photophoton and the photocatalysis, and no research compared photophoton with the visible light photocatalysis. And the third thing is that I design an experiment and try to answer my question. Thank you for listening. Bye.